Hello, happy Friday, happy Good Friday. I am the work wife. My name is Rachel, and coming at you with a late video today. I've been really busy this week, so it's kind of been topsy-turvy in terms of making videos, but I only want to do a video if I'm really feeling something. I don't want to just force myself to do a video for the sake of doing a video. So today I am talking about radical acceptance, not just acceptance, but radical acceptance, and how you can make it work for you if you're dealing with a toxic work situation or any other toxic situation in your life for that matter. But before I jump in, I am a workplace coach with nearly 20 years experience in the corporate world, primarily having successfully navigated my way through some toxic, seriously toxic work environments around, through, and ultimately out. If you're dealing with a situation like that right now or know someone who is, feel free to hit me up on Instagram at theworkwife or email me at theworkwifellc@gmail.com, and I'd love to help you. So, today's video, radical acceptance. I've talked a lot in previous videos about different techniques and tips to not avoid the situation you're in, but maybe think about other aspects of your life that give you pleasure, things like gratitude or taking yourself away from the situation, like breath work or meditation, ways to kind of hit the pause button and the toxic thing is over there while you make sure you take care of yourself over here. But today's video is about acceptance, where you're not in the situation where you can leave, or you can't just walk off and say bye. I'm taking care of myself right now, I'm no longer dealing with this situation, where you're in for the long haul maybe. Maybe you're close to retirement. Maybe you had plans to, put in 20 years, and you're not going to deviate from that no matter what toxic coworker, boss, or whoever comes into your life. You are determined. I think I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos about know your why, and your why is that you're staying. So what to do when you encounter difficult people and difficult environments in that case, when you're in that situation. So, acceptance. It's allowing of the situation. And radical acceptance is not just acceptance, but reframing of what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It's seeing that it's toxic, but instead of reacting to it as if it's, the worst thing that could ever happen to you, you realize you're miserable, but there's nothing you can do about it, so that becomes resignation. Acceptance isn't resignation, and radical acceptance isn't resignation. It isn't giving up. It is what it is. I'm just gonna suffer until I hit my 20 years and then I'm out. Radical acceptance is about looking at your situation and maybe reframing it so that it isn't toxic to you. And that doesn't necessarily mean doing anything about it or taking action to try to pretend that it's not the way it is. Radical acceptance is about, okay, is this, when I say my toxic boss and, I immediately in my mind go, this guy or woman is, they're horrible, I can't stand them, I'm going to try to just deal, and it is what it is. Like, you're almost cementing and condemning them to that state, rather than saying, well, maybe this can work for me somehow, some way. And looking at maybe the aspect of it and having compassion. I know that's a tough one, but having compassion for why they are the way they are. Instead of just reacting to what you're perceiving and what you're experiencing, you think beyond that and say, okay, well, clearly, maybe from a work perspective, they're getting pressure from their toxic boss, or maybe they have something going on at home that's creating this person who's coming into my world and treating me a certain way. Doesn't excuse it. We're not talking about excusing. We're talking about having compassion and saying, and reaching for that aspect of this person that maybe you can relate to better so that you feel better about the situation. Accepting that this person is the way they're being, but then reframing and saying, maybe I can turn this around in my mind, in my perception, that somehow, some way this works out for me so that I'm not miserable, that I'm not resigned, so that I'm not coming to work every day going, okay, I've got, 456 months left. I can make it, right? So a lot of people talk about acceptance and allowing and things like that, and they interpret it as almost kind of giving up and saying, well, I'm just gonna deal because I gotta do my 20, or I'm close to retirement. There's no way I'm quitting now, right? This person isn't gonna drive me out. You're still coming to work or going into that environment with a sense of dread, even if it may be deeply repressed. You're not accepting the situation. If anything, you're still resisting it because you're like, this mofo. Every single day, even if it's unconscious. At some point, it does become subconscious if you've been there long enough and dealt with this person long enough. You may not be saying it. You may not even be gossiping about it to your coworkers, but you're still saying it to yourself just a little bit. And that inner speech becomes the running, like low-level thread day in, day out for you. And that's not what I'm talking about. How can you find a way to turn, I don't want to say turn your frying upside down. I wasn't going to say that, I promise. How can you find a way to reframe this to work to your advantage? How can you find a way almost to, when you get the bad attention from the coworker, boss, or even employee that's toxic, or just the environment, how do you find a way to laugh at it? How do you find a sense of humor about it? That instead of coming into work with dread, you go, what excitement is going to happen to me today? I know I'm going to find a kernel, make it a game. What kernel of wisdom am I going to learn today from this environment? What am I going to take away from this environment that I vow never to do if I'm ever a boss myself, or, however you want to look at it, a future role, or you see someone in the role that you want and you want to be promoted and you're like, I'm never going to do that. Instead of looking at it as reacting to the situation, you take control of it in your own mind and you start imagining the ways that you would want it to be if you were in charge. I think I mentioned that in another video about being in your own bubble, but this is a little bit more present than that, not imagining yourself away from the environment, but being present in the environment, but accepting it and saying, how can I turn this to my advantage? Psychologically, emotionally, how can I make this something where I can convince myself that going into this job every day, since I've decided to stay, is actually of benefit to me so that I'm not suffering every single day? That's what radical acceptance is to me, at least in part. And as far as the emotions that come up, you are going to react. You are going to have those days where you're just done. But that's also part of radical acceptance. And instead of resisting those emotions and going, oh, I shouldn't feel this, I can't feel this, I can't afford to feel this, you say, no, I'm going to feel it. Even if I have to sit in my car and cry or whatever, play 10 hours of video games over the weekend to decompress, whatever I need to do. If it gets me through the emotion, instead of resisting it and saying, I can't feel this, I can't feel this, you say, no, I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to do what I need to do to just feel it without judgment and let it peter out, because eventually it will. So all emotions are heightened energy with power, energy in motion, emotion. And it's usually when we fight it, when we repress it, when we resist it, it becomes more powerful. Either in the moment or later it pops up again. And you're like, why am I feeling this again? Because you repressed it. Better off just feel it. Go with it. Tell your family, tell your friends, just say, I'm going through something right now. Communicate. Say, look, I've had a rough day, I've had a rough week, I've had a rough month. I need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to lie in bed all Saturday and Sunday. I'm not going to clean. You let people know that you're taking care of yourself and you're feeling the emotions you need to feel in order to get yourself better for Monday. Get you and your psyche better for Monday. You do what you need to do. And if there's any obligation for any other person that's kind of causing you more stress, you just say, I'm sorry, I just can't do it this weekend. I just can't. I'm not today. So that's my little take on radical acceptance. I hope that made sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Please leave in the comments below. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. I would love it if you would subscribe. And yeah, please feel free to, shoot me an email or let me know about what's going on in your life. I'm happy to help you with your story, your situation, and deliver more content like this, and be happy to hear your suggestions as well. So until next time, stay cool, stay centered, and I will see you in the next video. Happy weekend. Bye.